Okay, this is OK here. We're covering the live match between National Master Jasugi99 and TheFinnisher. And it's game 1, and we missed the first few moves, and the finisher's already low on time, so we're just going to try and catch up. It's an e4 game. Oh, Jasugi just wow, sacrificing. Trying to get out of book. Exchange of queens, bishop backs off. Hits the queen. He's trying to hit that queen. It's a very strange position. And I just wanted to just go quickly just to get up to the live action. So Jasugi99 is thinking, and the finisher is very low on time. How to get in? Well, it's rook b8 is instant. Yeah, it's difficult to defend that. Because you defend with the knight, takes, and rook on the back rank. He just takes it and blocks. Yeah, I guess that's the best you can do. It's a very simple attack strategy. It's very hard to defend. Tries to evacuate. That won't work. Just a knight check. Yeah, knight here check. It's going to push him back to the back rank or push him up, and then rook at d7 was checkmate. So Jasugi99 takes game 1. There's going to be a 10-game match. Game 2, the finisher is white. e4. It's effectively an e4, e5, knight c3, knight f3, knight c6, d4 game. So it's effectively a Scotch, although the move order was different. So Jasugi99 must realise he's in theory, of course, only move 4. Takes. He hits the queen, that looks good. Okay, so the queen backed off, knight developed to f6, knight c3, bishop b4, knight at f5, castles at g5, knight g4, bishop e2, knight e5, queen g3. So white is building an attack on the king, and black is still, well, black is trying to develop and also defend that knight, obviously, which was under attack. I'm not giving very good commentary at the moment. This is still protected. This is still protected by the knight. A little bit, not quite enough to... I was just slightly concerned in the chat about giving too much information away. Players are not supposed to look at previous games while playing the current games. They're also not supposed to look at engine, but just in case a player looked at a previous game because they were thinking, what should I do, or if there were a break. So we shouldn't be giving engine lines just in case, because there shouldn't be any consulting of engine, either direct or indirect. As Katas says, if the finishers analyse these Scotch positions really deeply, they're just as deadly as any bishop c4 lines. Black suffers from lack of space and gets squeezed off the board. But white has to be accurate to be able to do that. That's a nice move. Knight takes bishop. Wow. Because what you want to play, stuff like at e7, but you just don't have time. You need to do an aggressive move with that bishop, and it's a real problem because knight at is next. So the best thing to do is actually to defend the bishop. Very logical here. We're being very logical. So rook e1 is just forced basically. If you move the bishop, knight at still works. Could move the queen, but that feels like the queen will get chased around the board. Queen here is also possible, I guess. I think rook e1 would be okay. Also, you have to be careful. This queen could... Yeah, I think this is correct, because after rook e1, there was still knight here, maybe. Oh, this knight's defending this. Does this achieve anything? Maybe it does, because if knight takes... Oh, we don't have anything in hand. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, what just happened there? He couldn't afford to take the queen. Why not? Because, yeah, knight here was threatening knight here with the smothered mate takes, and just queen here, and if you don't take, there's a smothered mate idea. So he had to take back. And black's just in. Black's just in, just going for the attack. Can we take the queen now? Is there a mate if we take now? With only one knight in hand, maybe... Oh, maybe there is. So hang on, queen there check, takes. Here takes. Pawn here check. Yeah, I don't think we've got enough to just mate with with the queen sack. So takes queen seems okay. Apparently knight at f3 is a threat. Knight at f3. Oh yeah, I see. Knight at f3 takes, and you can't take a queen at g2. So you'd have to go king h1, but then it takes g2 and knight h4. Okay, so at h3 was a threat. Very devious. It's the kind of thing the finisher often does. He plays something which, if your opponent is not smart and can't see the mate threat, then they fall for it and they get mated. Knight f3 is now come, and pawn at g2 will finish the game. What brilliant play by Jasugi99. 2 games to love. 26 spectators we see here. Most famous being Katask, Chicken Crossroad, another of the candidates is also there. The Racing Kings champion Royal Maniac is there, and a few other players like Chabo Chab and others. But those are the big names. Mahfouz fan. I think Finisher's only chance was a quick start, so 2 love isn't the best. This isn't really a line, but Jasugi just wants a middle game. I didn't follow the opening here, but it seems like White's got everything he wants. Can I just play through this again? Sorry, apologies. Huh! He's given up a piece. Okay, I see. He's given up a piece for a pawn just to get out of book. Katas says, Black is probably just winning here already. Catfish says that was incredibly played by Jasugi last game. I agree. I thought his position looked hard to play, but according to Stockfish, he was doing great. It was amazing, yes. Surprised that not more of the candidates are watching this match. Katask is watching, Chicken Crossroad is watching. Surprised not more of the big guns are watching the game. Yeah, to be honest, okay. So he's a piece for a pawn down, but he's got a really nice center. He's got a pawn waiting to land on h6. Yeah, that's a good move from the finisher. It has to defend somehow. Has Black overextended? It's going to be the case where every move you go, oh yeah, actually no, that's a good move from White, and so on. Sign of a good game. Problem is white can't have a castle, but so what's wrong with just bishop d2? Or what else? Is there something more concrete? And alright, it's just king f1. Crazy as it looks. Why not? Just sidestep. Maybe we lose too much. It's giving up another pawn. We'll have a knight. We could maybe sack on f7. Knight g5 ideas. Okay, just bishop d2. It's the logical move. What was the risk? It was knight takes bishop, queen takes. If bishop takes knight, obviously you don't go pawn takes because otherwise knight here is a problem. So yeah, queen takes is for sure. Bishop takes knight, you have to go queen takes again, I think. Otherwise knight lands on f3. Okay, so he decides to go for this. Oh, I like bishop takes knight. Feels something, yeah. Yeah, Katas thought knight takes d2 was too soon. So giving a knight. Why? Queen takes is forced. Oh no, surely not. Jasugi wants this. Okay, so he wants to win this, but the bishop is protected. The bishop on g5 is protected by the queen, so knight at f3 just looks juicy for white, for black. I think it's some kind of. I'm sure there are better moves. d6. Okay, so he doesn't want this. So I guess you would be losing two knights for the queen, and maybe he was afraid that two knights would start to get dangerous, but I don't see anything. Yeah, finisher looks. Knight f3 can be considered, but there's no clear follow-up. Now finisher looks for pawn at h3 stuff. It's not so dynamic anymore. And here pawn at a3 stuff. Now that he's castled this way. Yeah, I think knight at f3 was missed. Yeah, I feel, and with this, white wanted to play f4 to begin this attack on the king side. So the finisher's really lost a lot of momentum in this game. Okay, I think he still might. I don't know, his pieces are very far away from the white king. So he has to mobilize his forces somehow. There are nice moves though. You could go knight here and have an eye on, oh, and he does it, eye on c2. So I'm saying, I'm recording but not sure how it will turn out, not him. Of course, white had to just go for the sack. D takes e5 and pawn at a3 was principle back at move 16. Just take this pawn and put a pawn here. That actually looks logical, rather than my silly idea of knight at b4. But black's got a lot of material, I think. Surely the two bishops. It's just whether he can mobilize. Oh yes, I like that move. That's protected. It's just a great defensive move. At some point, he's going to back off. Pawn takes knight is coming though. Pawn takes knight takes. The great thing is this square is under control, but this square isn't, and this square isn't. Catastrophe is saying king b1 is an interesting idea. Ah, oh my! I didn't see that coming. But that looks really nice. It's mate. That was amazing. Surely he had to go to g7, but then rook it. Let's just open that final position. If he goes to g7, rook at f7, king h8, or king g8, takes the bishop with check, and so on. Yeah, or loss of huge material. So Can I see the mate? King h8, g7. Yeah, I'm not trying to figure out what the mate is. Rook takes bishop check, blocks, bishop takes. Yeah, I can't quite see the mate, but okay. We're now into e4, e5, bishop c4 lines. And Katas says, I prefer this bishop c4 line for finisher, given his opening knowledge. Queen f6. Well, certainly a first for me. Never seen that move. That knight is going to come in here, threatening this and the queen. I think, yeah, good response, knight e7. So you can't allow a knight coming into d5 unopposed. Still, this is not going to end well. Knight b5, Katas suggests. Wow. Yeah, how do you defend c7? But he'll turn it around like usual, king d8. He's hanging in there, isn't he? Okay, so the worry was bishop to g5, and so played h6. Okay, you got to give kudos to him for hanging in there. And because it's not theory, he somehow has managed to avoid theory against the finisher in e4, e5. This is incredible. And things are kind of, yeah, they're not looking so bad suddenly, you know. These pieces are developing. Okay, the knight now comes into e5, but where it is opposed. And I imagine it will be taken. And it is taken. Katas says, castles maybe was a waste of time. Maybe bishop e3 and just sacking that knight on c7, going straight for an attack. Katas says, Virantoni says, is this an adoption match? And Katas says, Jasugi can't win 5 blacks in a row against the finisher. Okay, so the queen is having to go into hiding. But it's a creative position. I still think whoever wins this is the better player, I feel, in this game. I don't. It's just it's a creative match. It's incredible, but he has somehow managed to avoid theory. So if he wins, it's completely to his credit, and if he loses, it's to Jasugi's credit for having found a creative line. The knight can come into f6, but what's the future? Meaning, it's not got an obvious next move. So, for example, knight f6, queen f7, and then the knight doesn't really have an onward destination. It's got nowhere to sack on. It's got nowhere to reside. Okay, actually, that's not true. I think this is dangerous because you go knight takes here, takes pawn here, and then queen takes here. He doesn't do that. I feel that's a shame. I think that was good enough. Takes the pawn, takes the queen. Bishop can't take the pawn because take back is defended by this bishop. And it'll be getting to work on these light squares, which are incredibly weak in black's position. So having said that, this weakness is not going away anytime soon, and it may be that it's a fatal weakness perpetually. There are a lot of weaknesses in this black position. Actually, this is the most serious weakness. Actually, f5, because again, I think they. Sorry, I didn't realize the bishop was also covering f5. So bishop and knight, but bishop and knight. So still, these three squares are very. Oh, whoa! This knight's under attack. Oh, take the knight, definitely. But then you're giving me a... Yeah, the knight just doesn't do anything. Take the knight, and then what? Still got a problem on these light squares. And now you've got a problem on the dark square as well. This is the problem for Jasugi. This whole cross of squares. Oh, knight g6 takes. So just to show, I had some glitch. Takes. Oh, knight at... Sorry, I accidentally wound back a move. Okay, so knight at h3 played. Now the queen is coming to defend that little cross I talked about. And that was quite a nice move, knight h3, because if takes is a discovered check, and you're really working at those squares. Okay, so this, only 2 seconds on the clock. I think it's going to hurt the finisher, too low on time. Okay, he only has a pawn to follow it up. But he reckons he has mate. Brave. I think he does, though. Bishop, g2, king goes here, knight goes here, and that's checkmate. And if the king goes the other way, then it's clearer. Okay, we saw the line that I suspected. So it's a 4-love to Jasugi, really beautiful play. The huge holes he was creating in his kingside were not exploited in a timely manner. Jasugi in scintillating form so far, says Katask. Very impressive. Yeah, this is a fantastic match, and as people were saying in the comments, it really deserves proper streaming by a top Crazyhouse player, someone like Mugwort or Jan Lee. I'm just doing my best to offer some commentary, some insights from an intermediate player, which hopefully interesting and make it also more fun for people to watch back this match in future if they missed it live. So this is actually interesting because notice how Jasugi is playing the bishop c4 line against the finisher, probably in the hopes of picking up some tips of what he should play as black. Comment says, you better mate Jasugi, otherwise he wins the game no matter what, says Janley. Okay, again though, I don't really like black's position, this f3 move. Well, it's okay actually. So what I was concerned about was he's created permanent weaknesses on the dark squares. I think this is something you could say about Jasugi. He does create positional weaknesses. He gets away with it because if you don't exploit, he'll attack you faster than you attack him. But that's the reason why Oppa does have chances and does sometimes outplay Jasugi. Oppa is very aware of these positional weaknesses. And so the games that Oppa does beat Jasugi99, it's because Oppa is just all over all these positional weaknesses. And when Jasugi99 beats Oppa, it's because he plays really good positional Crazyhouse. So ultimately, tactics are very important, but ultimately you've got to be aware of position as well. So what do I mean in this position? So because there are these weaknesses on these dark squares, black's strategy should be to get hold of diagonal pieces, so pawns and bishops, and start laying them along these weaknesses. So with moves such as, yes, exactly, like bishop there, or knight there, and of course, white is going to do everything he can to stop this. He doesn't want to give away bishops. No, look, black's got a knight. The knight's not really what he wants. So hitting on this bishop, probably willing to take it, but and white could have taken, but at the end of that sequence, he gives away a bishop, and I think he gives away too much. I think. Okay, I'm not sure. This is going now quite fast for me to follow. Players are playing quite quickly. It says white wants to keep trades as low as possible for the next few moves to consolidate. They have good piece placement, but there's some holes they want to be able to play around, control better. Exactly, this is it. This is what I was saying. White is wanting to consolidate. He's not able to consolidate so far. It will be interesting to see how he plays this position. I agree. Because the black pieces are swarming in. And he's managed to hide his bishops. That's something to be said. Oh, it's a very clear what he's up to there. Oh, he's given away. Okay, takes. Was I just winning a piece? No, because that piece dropped also. But it was potentially winning. Yeah, if you take this pawn, then black counterattacks. So he's trying to keep. So just notice how this is an attack on the bishop. This is slightly concerning. Takes. Does white have enough? That's to justify. Oh, bishop and rook. Just we saw this in the last game. Except the knight defends. And there's also king here, but king here. Oof. What's going on here? So the knight can always come in. No, it can't. A new knight can drop in here and control this square. So the problem is how to control this square. And to be honest, I don't see. So black's just trying to give his king another escape square on d8. Okay, white's taking the pawn, hitting f7. Okay, just land on f7, I guess. Land on f7, king sidesteps. Well, white's only got one pawn, that's the problem white has. Oh, okay, that was clever. Yeah, you can win a pawn. Okay, he's going for knight at d6. 7 seconds to try and defend. How do you defend knight at d6? Difficult. Goes to e6 anyway. Takes the queen anyway. He doesn't take the queen. He wants more. I don't know. Is he going to get what he wants, though? Ooh. He could just put a pawn defending it. Okay, he's just piling up this pawn here, though. Maybe. Don't know. I think that we could see a fight back here. Yeah, good play from... Oh, yeah, good play from... So, just 2 seconds on the clock. Jasugi99 just going for the flag here. Wait, did he have a mate in that final position? I don't understand. He was playing moves extremely... Yeah, he had a mate with a heavier f8, I think, at the end. Wow. That just went too quickly at the end. I couldn't entirely follow. We're going for this queen f6 line, which is complete utter nonsense. But yeah, okay. Knight b5 we saw last time. But as the finisher's gone into a think. Knight b5, king d8. d3, bishop e3 was the suggestion from Katask last time. And hopefully the finisher hadn't read the chat. I've taken for granted that he hadn't, but that's in fact. Oh, he obviously hadn't, because the whole concept of that move was then to go knight takes c7. Knight takes c7, and d4 is what Katas was thinking. But in fact, the finisher played more similar to how he played the last time, with rerouting the knight to e5, and this queen is just out of place. That's what you want to show. And to begin with, this square has put. Okay, so for the moment, this square is very well protected, but just trying to look, what are the weak squares in black's position? There's certainly weaknesses that can be attacked. I guess there's poor development as well. Queen takes knight's a threat. Could do something like this. I'm not sure if it's any good. It didn't seem awful. There was queen here in exchange of queens. Maybe black preferred the exchange. Ah, do we see draw possibilities here? Avoid the adoption. Castles. Oh, he doesn't castle. Castles was fine, I'm sure. But maybe he was afraid of attacks on g2 and takes g2 at h3 to follow. I mean, this is a hard. Okay, white wants to castle queenside, it seems. But the immediate threat is f4. Oh, he just allows f4. I think that's not. Okay, so remember, e6 is always going to be a weakness in black's position. That's what I said about Jasugi99. He does have positional weaknesses, which can be exploited. But you need to be 2800 plus, it seems, to be able to take advantage. You don't want to take here, for example. I said you wasn't want to. This looks horrific for black. You might have an extra piece for a pawn, but it looks honestly horrific. How could he have let himself get into this? I'm predicting white wins this one. Okay, some desperate ideas here. Maybe even queen takes knight sack ideas. He's just going to go the more polite way. Kind of annoying, because this knight's hitting here. So I guess you take the knight, takes back, and then put a pawn. Yeah, I'll just put the pawn directly. The point is he's allowed this. And taking doesn't help, because then knight takes. And then the bishop's a bit more free. Okay, so suddenly black's cleared up a lot of the weaknesses, somehow. But there are. So hits the queen, okay. There were also, at some point, if we could ever win a knight here ideas. But, so queen takes queen, yeah, it's difficult to see how, though. Okay, so for example, queen takes queen, pawn takes queen, queen here, check, and then takes the knight. I don't know, something like this. Okay, but he won instead by takes, hitting the knight, and then winning the other knight. So yeah, well, he did in the end win one of those knights. Okay, knight b3 is a nice move because it defends the rook and attacks the queen. Oh, okay, what is going on? Takes, sorry, I'm on a laptop, which is glitchy. Oh, he sacks. Really, he had to sack a queen, he had no blockers. So at c3 is a threat. Simply defends, attacks queen. I think he's going to try and play for the clock here. But actually black's improved his position since last we looked. In terms of material, he's actually up material and doesn't have the weaknesses we saw earlier. Yeah, this is actually... He does have the king in the centre of the board with the rook file staring down at the king though. That's a brilliant move from the finisher. Have to hand it to him in low time. I see pain coming. Not afraid to sack either. Okay, you can't give away a whole queen. Rook here is also tempting, but yeah. That's another idea for at some point. Yeah, because the threat was rook here, was checkmate. That's why he had to take it. He couldn't afford to take the queen. Okay, he takes the queen now. 3 seconds left. He wants... Hang on. Is he hung mate? Yes, that's protected. But he missed knight here. No? Oh, I think he missed... No. Maybe he didn't. Jasugi99 basically having to cover a mate threat. And this threat. Knight here. Checkmate. Or find mate himself. So something like rook here, check. Pawn here, check. And then bishop here. What's the continuation? I don't see the continuation. Pawn here, knight takes pawn, bishop here. King takes bishop. What's the finish? Oh my god, is this gonna work? Queen takes knight. I just don't see it. I mean, that was amazing, because I thought in this game he managed to fight back somewhat. There's too much space around that white king. 26 seconds left, but no mate to be found. Not even Jasugi can find mate here, and can't defend these two squares at once. Ooh. He's managing to defend though. Managed to scare away that knight. But okay, there's nothing going here. Nothing going. Nope. And the finisher takes it. Well deserved. Now, let me just check. Was there a missed mate there? What an exhausting win for Thin, says Beefar. Yeah, mean, it was well played. This is from the finisher's perspective. I'm not going to use engine. Actually, I could because this is a recording, so there's nothing, there's no information. Although yeah, so black has managed to fight back somewhat. Okay, takes. Is there a mate here? Oh, it's the existing knight that moved in. That makes sense. Yeah. So white has. Yeah, so white does have an edge. Oh, it's just a really complicated game. It's just not clear at all. Just check from a greater distance, maybe. Oh, there is a mate. Bishop, what? Bishop at e1. Bishop at e1 is mate. That is insane. What? Why can't I do this? Because then queen takes knight. So I've got to go knight d1. But then pawn f2. King takes f2. Bishop here. And there's no blocker. So you have to just basically move it. But then queen g5. And you block with the rook. But you've still got knight here, king here, and this knight comes in, but rook takes, and knight takes is checkmate. So back in this position, bishop here is a killer. And if you step back, you're just back rank mated. Or if you step sideways, knight f4, and now you're back rank mated. Okay, so that was really interesting. Huh. So I'll just cover them. I had mate with bishop at e1, not bishop at f1. Amazing. So we missed this game, which is a big shame. So we're going to just catch up. It's playing e4, French defense, sacks on g7, and there we go. So Jasugi had mate in the game he lost. He had a forced mate. Okay, so Jasugi99 in this game seems to be doing quite nicely with it. He sacked a piece for a pawn. He's got a big attack. g7 though is well covered for now, so maybe the attack's running out. But there's still some ideas. Knight coming here, swapping off my bishop for one of the defenders. But yeah, nothing concrete yet for white. And if there's nothing concrete, then maybe the extra material that black has will pay. This move h3. Obviously he was afraid of this, but this only creates a hook. So the only benefit of this is he gets a pawn. Black still gets this pawn on g4. But the point is white gets a pawn also. But it's double-edged because he's weakened his king side. So he did it with the knowledge that he wanted that pawn badly enough. Yeah, it seems like Jasugi99 has got the idea. Gatas says, weird stuff, I think black's okay. but I think white will win. Yeah, this is good, and then queen takes knight's coming next. Unless... Oh, was that? Oh yeah, that's nice. You win a piece, it's hitting the queen as well. So he has to take back. So actually you save your piece. Okay. I was thinking you had to go desperado with the knight. But there's no need. Okay, so nice play from the finisher. He's fighting back. Actually, all the squares in the position are quite well covered. Maybe slight weakness on h6. Yeah, quite a severe weakness on h6. But white's instead going for the e6 square. So you have to always watch what are the weak squares in the position. He's going for e6, and now he's going for g7 indirectly. But gosh, black's really just fixed everything up. Black is so safe. And if he's safe, then the position is stable, and so you wonder, oh, just as I said that. That's amazing. Because knight takes pawn, rook takes, rook at g8 is checkmate. So instead he's threatening bishop takes, so rook takes, yep, bishop here. Because he wants knight takes rook with check. And it's a double check, so he can't even take it back. So he goes back. Knight takes rook comes anyway, he has to take back, and now he's winning the queen. He doesn't want the queen, he wants mate. Wow. I mean, no, this game, the whole time I thought black was doing fine. And just needed to defend, and then he's got the extra material, and yeah, amazing. 6-1 to Jasugi. Game 8 of 10. Is he going to go queen f6 again? Okay, he decides to mix it up. Yes, you have to play rated in the Crazyhouse World Championship. G6. Yeah, so G6 is not good for the following reasons. It weakens the dark squares around the king. Okay, so you can use another move and go h6. Even if you go bishop g7, you have a pawn on e5 just blocking up your bishop. Having said that, white just went d4 and just opened up this diagonal for black. And now suddenly, g6 doesn't really look that bad. If you know your opponent's going to go d4, not sure d4 was the right approach. It looks like black is even willing to sack just to get rid of that bishop. Staring down at f7. Okay, he takes here. The problem is just takes knight. And what's the rook doing next? Okay, the rook's actually taking this knight. So the rook does have a good desperado move. Ah, really nice move here. Very interesting move. Because he's giving his knight a square by attacking the queen. But why not f3? There probably is a good reason why f3 is bad here. f3... Maybe you could takes at g2. Yes, that's the one to go. Takes, queen here, and black doesn't have a bishop to block, so then you can go queen takes h2. He didn't do that. I'm surprised. I thought takes at g2, rook g1, and then queen here check, followed by queen takes h2 was quite strong. Yeah, knight takes f3, Katask also suggests. I thought queen h5 and I was dead. Some queen h4 ideas also. Okay, so we're seeing the line we talked about, just delayed by one move, because he did this first. Yeah, so we're seeing the same kind of idea. And notice white doesn't have a bishop to put on g3. If white had a bishop to put on g3, you'd have to go queen takes bishop, pawn takes pawn here. Black still has some ideas, but not nearly as nice. Okay, this is actually quite good. The rook in hand, yeah. Queen takes pawn, rook, simply rook takes pawn. Yeah, maybe this isn't as good as I thought. What do you do then? I'm not sure. He didn't do rook takes. I thought he was going to go rook takes beauty. Look nasty. But this way you can just go queen here check, and white has to... Those rooks look silly on the second rank, because now you have to use another piece to block with. You can't move the rook to block, you can't move this rook to block, you take the other rook. So he just allowed queen h1, and black doesn't even go queen h1. Anyway, I don't really understand why queen h1 wasn't played. So black continuing very aggressively. And Kates says he was afraid of knight at f1 and down material. So he wants to eliminate attackers. Okay, notice queen at d8 is just the mate in one threat, and we don't have that much material, and we don't have time to do... I mean, if we could do many moves, we could be taking here, and... Okay, so he's just trying to keep the checks going. Just don't have much time. So he has to block. Okay, he decides to block here. Fair enough. Blocking with an attack. Rook here probably forced, just to defend. But this is going to look very hard. Pawn at b7 coming. So I feel Jasugi was doing okay in this game, but I think he is in the finisher's vice here. It's he's going to be really punished. That's what I feel anyway. Queen here, even an idea. Bishop here. Bishop. This square is so weak. Goes for bishop here as well. It's more defensive, just to avoid. Yeah, to avoid bishop takes pawn, queen takes pawn, knight at h4 ideas. It's quite cautious, but I guess it's wise to be cautious. Not even taking this pawn, trying to avoid checks. Don't know. White low on time. I hadn't noticed he was under 10 seconds. So caution is advisable when you're under 10 seconds. Okay, so I would just go queen here maybe. Okay, I don't know. So queen here is a mate threat again. Oh, it's missed. What? No? What? This is... Oh, it's check. Okay, yeah. Okay. Okay. Ah, he's found the mate. Bishop takes, and he's deflected the defender, and it's mate. I'm not quite sure what happened. Yeah. So, hope that doesn't happen again. e4, knight f6, so with that the finisher fights back 6 games to 2. And 2 games to go, this is game 9. Gadas predicts 8-2. Actually, so if the finisher wins these 2, it will only be 6-4, and a very respectable result. Suddenly my sound's gone completely, which is weird. and then it's gone. It's very loud now. Okay, it's back now. So this was familiar. Bishop takes knight is quite unusual. So at that point I was like, okay. And also, yeah, that's interesting. Defending on e6 it's fairly passive, because obviously you wanted that pawn for h3. I think it was necessary. Well, I'd have gone bishop e7. Maybe it's not the best, but that was my instinct. So the idea is bishop takes knight coming in here. We've got to be careful of these sorts of ideas when white's got two knights. Nice f4. I think Katasko said that in this Crazyhouse World Championship that's Jasugi's signature move. Okay, it's time to hit that queen. The queen is in the open, it's going to get hit. Hit it and then play this. Might be an idea. And because queen here attacks g7, maybe knight here. Oh, he's allowed. He's allowed for this and takes here. But, okay. The problem with that is there's also knight takes pawn ideas, but it's quite double-edged. Queen takes pawn. You can't just go and take this rook, because queen takes rook is check. So, but maybe the rook would just go here, and the rooks are still forked, and so it's still. So then black would probably be doing quite well. Okay, white finally getting out his bishop. At h6 is coming. Nice move from black, defending all those weaknesses. Okay, we're hitting g7. G7 is protected. Takes, bishop back. Oh, queen. This is interesting. So if bishop here, he might even be willing to sack. It wouldn't be wise though. So bishop here, he's probably hoping to block. Bishop here, probably, because this way we control this square, and okay, he didn't go for that. So he's opting to let Jasugi99 attack him, which is high risk against such a good attacking player. And maybe he's figured that's probably the best chance of winning. Let Jasugi99 attack me, absorb, and ouch. Okay, so you can't take the knight with the pawn because rook takes rook, queen takes, and rook at h8 is checkmate. And you can't take with the queen because, well, we're going to see. Pawn here, we then take this knight. And this is going to be a problem. This is painful suddenly, so painful. He takes the knight. Notice the queen's now defending the mate. Bishop takes pawn, still possible. So now what? Is there any cunning way of deflecting that queen? Oh, yes. Bishop takes pawn. I didn't even see it. I was looking for ways of deflecting the queen, and yeah, that's the way. That queen is going to get deflected. Just another. You could use another bishop even. But okay. I think he wants to have a pawn if the queen goes back to here. Okay, pawn. Bishop. Oh, he's found something creative. I didn't see this. I didn't see this at all. What is the idea of this? I don't understand that move at f6. Ah, interesting. He wants knight at c7, take a rook. And rook at h8. That's so beautiful. And there's nothing that can be done. Nothing that can be done to stop rook at h8 or just to say, why is there nothing, absolutely nothing that can be done? See, knight at g6, in theory, is possible. I just want to have a quick look, actually, at that last game. The final position. I'm being a bit slow. King h1. Black does have a knight in hand, so why not just knight here? And I'm going to cheat a little bit. Just, yes, it's not so simple. There's no rook at h8, takes, and we use a knight to mate. There's bishop at e7, threatening rook here, and the knight can't take it. And if the queen takes it, pawn takes it. Okay, so it's still completely winning. But surely there's a better way here than at f6. Yeah, just simply bishop at d6. And here I was just insisting on getting the knight here. It's probably slightly more efficient. Okay, so game 10. Let's not miss it. Seems like they're playing it quickly. The final game of the match. 7-2. It's going to be 7-3 or 8-2, and Jasugi99 is playing a la Penguin with the Scandi. And interesting approach. Rerouting the knight around that queen, and the pawn traps the queen. Almost. Queen could still come here with check. So close to trapping the queen, but this can't be good. So that's an idea. Queen here. He's allowed queen here. Queen e6. Pawn here. Don't know, that queen's getting the run around, but I don't see anything decisive. And okay, yeah. So he's lost his queen. Yeah. So that was White's goal in this position. Trap that queen that's come out in the Scandinavian. And yeah, as Art of Deception says in the lichess chat, this has got to be better for White. He's thinking, because he's got the queen, but he's out of book. What? So why not just knight? He's allowing knight takes pawn. Now this is some creative. This is some creative stuff. Why would he do that? Why would he sack a queen for a knight? Because now black. Okay. Seems a bit too desperate and unnecessary. Now I'm not sure who's winning. So black to play. Black backs off, defends, and if he can ever get a knight, black would be utterly crushing. In the meantime, if white ever castles, at h3 comes and black is still utterly crushing. So I feel like white should be winning, but I should have something here, but it's not an obvious move. And here just going for the trade of queens. Okay. Kates says the finisher should win this one. So after the opening, winning a queen, for sure. Then it got dark and confusing, and he gave the queen back. And now I'm just confused. Surely. What's Black's idea? Black's idea is just get the king on d8, and that's going to get himself mated, probably. So with something like takes knight and some kind of back rank, knight here, checkmate, is the idea. That's pretty rough, actually. You could even sack a queen, potentially. So if you imagine, if the knight moved, you could even just go queen here, takes, king here, knight here, checkmate. So some desperate attacks from 12 team to try and clear away these light square weaknesses. In doing so, he's probably losing too much material. Let's see. Takes. Oh, nice move. Yeah. Takes. Yeah, nice. So very nice. He's managed to clear away his weaknesses. He might even be. It's whether he can consolidate, though. That's the question. With the queen and loads of pawns in hand, he's allowed knight takes bishop. What was the idea? What was the idea? Allowing a free piece. Okay, he gives his king some luft, and he develops his bishop. It makes sense. Queen takes knight instant. Knight here check, of course. Bishop c5 coming if he steps up. The other knight coming also up if he steps up. So bishops are no use. You need knights. But he's got a knight if he ever wants one. That's a check. Another check coming here. Don't know. It's not so clear. Maybe Black's doing okay here with all those pawns. I think Black should be doing okay here. So pawn here check. If it king here, then you've got this other knight coming in. The only problem is pawns can't check from behind. So you want to keep that king. You want to keep that king down. Ironically. Ooh, tempting. Bishop takes pawn, knight takes bishop. Okay, but after king takes pawn, what's the idea? Ah, he wants to come in here. Interesting. And if you just sidestep and block, knight takes bishop is check. The other knight can come in if we want it to. If we want it to. Oh, how can he allow this? He's got a bishop. Is this safe though? Is king h3 safe? Oh yeah, pawn. Knight takes knight here, and knight here is checkmate. Oh my god. Jasugi is a monster. But he will lose this game, says Mr. McMahon. Mr. McMahon. You are wrong. You will not lose this game. Let's see what Stockfish actually thought in this position. Yeah. Slightly losing. So there's nothing. Doesn't see anything decisive at low depth. Nothing decisive at low depth. At b2 is a good try. he has to counterattack. Bishop takes knight, get him a knight, and then you can do this move. And here, it's actually mate. It's actually mate. So king takes f7, he realised bishop at g6 was mating him. I think it's worth showing why that's mate. So king takes f7, bishop here check. Obviously, this is why I lose games. I put the pieces in the wrong places. If you step down, obviously you're getting mated, so you have to take. The queen at f7 will mate. But in this position, queen at g5, king to f7. Got a second queen. It's easy. Just go bishop here, block the king off, and then queen here is checkmate. So that's the idea. And I think he realised that. In fact, yeah, he did realise that. So this. But even here, there's checkmate with queen here takes. You win a knight here. Knight takes f6. And then knight at g8 is mating for white. Get another knight. And with the queen and the rook, so maybe you go take with the knight or something. The problem is, look at d7 for example. Oh yeah, there's a rook here. So it's just too much material. And even if you step up, queen here is checkmate, I believe. Okay, but he managed to sidestep and swindle so that black was still winning the game. But there was no forced mate with stuff like, I was thinking knight 4 to e3, yeah, exactly. There's nothing forcing apparently, so knight takes bishop was interesting, and now he does have mate, knight e3. Here check, here check, here check, and here checkmate. Just weaving magic with those knights. And yeah, so the final result, 8-2 to Jasugi99. He keeps up his 80% plus performance record in this Crazyhouse World Championship. I think the weakest result he's had in any match is 7.5, 2.5. Just to see if he's said anything after the match in the Discord. Nope, no worse. But I know he was slightly intimidated by having to play the finisher, as the finisher is obviously well booked up. He's a very tough player, and Jasugi99 might be the favourite, but people are slightly scared of the finisher. But he proved too strong today, so congratulations, and come on, what a nice mate to finish. Okay, thanks all for watching, and goodbye.